Good Wednesday morning. So, unintentionally, kind of lied to y'all yesterday. Um, did hamstring and glute work yesterday. So, work. No, it was quad focus yesterday. Sorry, everything's kind of running together. Been a really busy day yesterday. So, the way it's broken down is Sunday is pretty much chest, shoulder, tricep. And then Tuesday is a leg day. And then Wednesday, which is today, is back and bicep. And then my Friday is my other leg day. And, and then arms, like legs and arms, is on Friday. That's the official breakdown of the 4-day split. That way I have back day today, have a day to recover, and then Friday. Obviously, that can change depending on what's going on. But that's the split, pretty much. So, headed to the gym like always. Gonna get a workout in and everything. Yesterday was just a busy day. I know I had to look up some grades, see some feedback on the grades and stuff like that for the program. And then after I got off, at least, the day itself at work was just event after event. So it felt like it was, even though it was about 13 hours, it felt like it was about 30. I got out at roughly 8 o'clock or 8:30. So, and then when I got out, I was looking up some stuff for the real estate, because even though I've dialed back on a lot of the real estate stuff, I'm still technically working the real estate too. So I have two people getting ready to buy their first home, so I'm working with them as far as just kind of doing it the right way. I always tell people, hey, before you even save for your home, have you like a little 3-month emergency fund. So just figure out what your bills are currently. Save about 3 months worth of bills. Usually that equals out to somewhere between $5,000 and $20,000. Everybody's a little bit different, but usually it's somewhere between $5,000 and $20,000, depending on what kind of lifestyle you have and stuff like that. And then when you have that emergency fund, then after that, start saving for your down payment. Another thing, there's a couple hidden costs that people don't talk about with real estate, such as your appraisal. Obviously, your home has to be appraised. The banks usually want you to pay for the appraisal of it. A lot of banks will wrap the appraisal into your loan, so you don't necessarily have to pay it. However, not all banks do that, so I just kind of mention it to people. Appraisals usually range anywhere from $500 to $800. And then that's done by the bank to assess the value of your home, and that assessed value is how they determine how much they're going to lend you towards that home, or if it's worth what you're planning on paying for it. The next thing is that they don't really tell you about is usually with when you're writing out your contract for a house, they'll want you to put down an earnest money deposit. So the earnest money is not money that you're like really going to lose per se. I mean, you can, but usually you don't. So it's customary. It's not like officially a thing you have to do, but it's customary for the earnest money to be 1% of the total cost of the house. So if you're going to buy a $100,000 house, the earnest money is usually $1,000. Just to give you easy math numbers. That earnest money is deposited usually either with the real estate trust or with the closing attorney. I usually do the closing attorney just because my brokerage, we don't do a real estate trust, and there's a lot of red tape around doing it, and we just don't want to deal with that. So it's just easier to have the closing attorney hold the funds, and we just focus on the actual real estate transaction instead of worrying about all the legality stuff related to having a real estate trust. So, sorry. I'm a little sleepy this morning. I hadn't done the pre-workout yet. And then that money goes towards your closing costs, so it's not like you really lose that money. If for whatever reason you break contract under terms that are not acceptable under your contract, you technically can lose that earnest money, and it would go to the sellers because you broke the contract. So it is basically just there to protect all the parties involved and to confirm that you're going to be purchasing the home, because when you put a property under contract, it takes it off the market, and other people aren't available to buy said home because you have it under contract. So to prevent people from just, writing offers all willy-nilly and taking every house off the market and putting it under a contract, and then no one's able to buy it because, Joe Schmo has all 20 properties in the neighborhood under contract, they created the earnest money where, he would have to put some earnest money to show like he has some skin in the game, as they say. That's essentially what it's for. The other thing is an inspection of your home. There's a couple different companies. The one that we use the most personally, and then the one that I see most people use is Singo here in South Georgia. Singo is really good. They pretty much do the entire state of Georgia. I think they're in like Florida, Alabama, Tennessee also. I'm not too sure about that. But their home inspections usually range from about $350 to $500, depending on the size of the house. Obviously, the bigger the house, the more square foot, the more expensive it gets. But if you're going to buy a home, definitely get a home inspection, because they'll find the kind of the hidden problems. A lot of times when you're looking at buying a home, you'll have that shiny object syndrome where everything just looks great, looks amazing, but then when the home inspector comes in and he starts really going through with his tools and stuff, he starts checking the outlets and water pressure and HVAC and all these things, and all of a sudden you realize, like, oh, half the house doesn't even have electricity. Oh, this over here, the HVAC is basically not even the cooling the house properly. Like, basically it's on its last leg and probably about to go out. So that $500, just put that there, and then you're like, oh, okay, so now you kind of know what you're getting into, and you can go back to your contract and renegotiate with with the seller if you're the buyer, or vice versa. So you can be like, hey, seller, I found out that this part of the house doesn't have electricity. And then you put in an amendment to your contract stating, hey, per this inspection report, you attach the inspection report. These areas of the house do not have electricity. I would like this problem resolved before closing. And then obviously the buyer either has to accept or decline. If they decline saying, oh, we don't want to fix that, then it goes back to you. At that point, you can get out of that contract and get your earnest money back because you broke contract as far as in because of due to inspection, which is an event that goes in your favor as a buyer. So in that scenario, like let's say to resupply electricity to that area of the house, it would have cost $5,000. That $500 inspection report just saved you $5,000 of repairs. Again, obviously there's a lot of parts to the house. I'm just using the electrical because it's an easy example for people, and I think people can understand it. But that's why the inspection report's so important. And I tell people all the time, don't forego it. It seems like you're like, oh man, I'm spending all this money here, there, and everywhere. But if you're gonna spend, six figures, I mean, some people spend over $1 million on a house. Like, how are you planning on spending that much money and not having it inspected to see how it's going? I mean, I bought my house for like 125 when I bought it, and it was fixer upper when I bought it, and I still had an inspection report done because even though I knew it was a fixer upper, I'm like, well, let me see how bad of a fixer upper it is. Maybe there's stuff that I'm not seeing that I just don't even actually want to deal with. Which, admittedly, there's a lot to my house that we've had to fix that, didn't show up on the inspection report because it's not a perfect thing. It's just highlights the obvious that you might not miss, that you might have missed. But yeah, definitely get inspection reports if you're looking at buying a house. It can save you tons of money, and I know I've had about 3 or 4 clients that were buyers, and when they got their inspection report back, various things would be wrong, and they're like, oh, never mind. Like one of them had termite damage. And, when we walked through the house, I mean, you couldn't tell it because it was under the crawl space, and we didn't go through the crawl space. So when the inspector went through, found like this whole area of termite damage, and it's like, oh, well, crap, we don't want this house. It's got termite damage, and it was termite damage on like supporting beams of the house. So, I mean, if that termite damage causes weakness there or that's still active, I mean, if that supportive beam of the house goes out, the whole house is going to start like caving in. So, I mean, and that was something you couldn't even see if you just, was walking through the house because it was something insidious or hidden. And, yeah, I mean, I don't even know what the cost would have been to do that repair, but I would imagine it would have been in the thousands of dollars. So again, I think that particular client probably paid like $350 for the inspection, but it saved them thousands of dollars, and they got out of that deal, obviously. But like I said, I've had that happen about 3 or 4 times in various things. That was the most extreme version of that. And other times we found inspection reports, there's like little bitty things wrong. Like let's say there's the electricity's fine, but there's one outlet that's not working. Come to find out that outlet's burned out. So I've had buyers be like, hey, we would like this inspected and fixed before closing. Obviously, if it's something major electrical, yeah, it would be expensive. But let's just say for that particular house, because this is what it was, is that particular outlet had just burned out. So I guess they got like the sellers got like a handyman, or maybe they did it themselves, I'm not sure. Got someone to come out, fix that light, that outlet, the plug-in outlet, had it fixed. We had it rechecked to make sure that it was fixed properly. It was. We went on and sold the house. So, I mean, it can work both ways. There was one where, the hot water heater was not, the temperature on the hot water heater was not rising the temperature to an acceptable amount, like heat-wise. Like it was making basically the hottest the water I got in the house was like lukewarm. Well, come to find out, the wife had, I guess somehow, I'm not sure exactly how she did it, had bought like this governor for the hot water heater, and she had set the temperature at that level so that it wouldn't go above that level, because they had like small kids and she was worried about her kids getting burned from the hot water. So the temperature never got hot enough that it could cause burns. Um, which, I mean, I think that's a really nice safety feature. But when an inspector's going through the house and they're checking the hot water to see if it's heating properly, and then it's like, oh man, this is like 10, 12 degrees lower than it should be, and then we're getting that inspection report and we're like, hey, this is what's showing up on the inspection report. Do you know anything about it? My client is wanting to get it fixed because they're going to want hot water to take a shower. And then the wife's like, oh yeah, I just have this governor here, da 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 da. So I go to the house, she shows me what she's talking about, and it's like this little interface, like a little computer box that's on the hot water heater that you can control the temperature. And she unlocked it for me, and she's like, well, what temperature would they want it? I told her, we set it there, turned the hot water, got like a little thermometer just to make sure. Sure enough, that's all it was. So the inspection report, sometimes it'll show things that aren't that big of a deal like that, but other times it could show like huge issues like mold, termite damage that you're not seeing, and save you thousands of dollars. So definitely get inspections. But with that, let me get in here to the gym, get a workout in. But y'all stay blessed and have a beautiful day.